Hi guys, and welcome to my review of Haikyuu chapter 292. I have not made reviews of Haikyuu for a month, I don't know. And one of the reasons that I not stopped doing them, but at some point I got a little fed up with how long the Narasaki match went down, so I just decided not to do anything until it ended. And it actually ended the week after I skipped the first review. And I was supposed to do a review then, but I completely forgot what stopped me from doing it. This just now we're doing it. But I think I did say this before, that it really from the last couple of months, it really seemed like Nekoma is the next team we're gonna meet, and I was right. So Nekoma is our next opponent. And that means a lot of things. That's really all I'm interested in right now. Some other stuff happened, obviously they won over Narasaki and stuff like that. But the Nekoma match, it is here. And it's gonna be interesting. I'm just quickly gonna go through a chapter, because there are 3 moments actually that I'm really interested in, just in terms of what I believe will happen next. Because we get, sorry, I'm just gonna quickly skip here. Because we get these 3 panels of what the goals of each of these characters are. So, you get Hinata's goal, you get, see if I can find it, you get Kenma's goal, and you get Bokutsu's goal. Okay, so because the only one I can find right now is... let's start with Hinata then, because he's our main character. Hinata says his goal is to defeat Nekoma... his goal is to defeat Kenma. Which is interesting, because he did not say, I want to defeat Nekoma. He says he wants to defeat Kenma. And this is interesting, because Kenma's goal in return was... I just want, what he wants is a match that has a game over. He wants to determine, in a match where there is no one more time, who is the better team. And we all know Kenma has a lot of faith in his team. He says, the first time we meet him, it's not me that's strong, it's all of us who are strong. Together we make a really strong team. And I think that's going to be the difference, because we all know I think Nekoma will win, and I think this helps my argument, because their goals aren't, I will beat this team. Their goals are determine which is better, defeat Kenma. They can both achieve that goal. Obviously for Kenma it's implied that he thinks they are the better team. They can both achieve that goal. Hinata can beat Kenma, but Nekoma can then beat Karasuno. Cause it's a bit like what's a good comparison I feel like we have here? Shiro Torisawa. Karasuno beat Shiro Torisawa, but I honestly think that Ushiwaka beat literally everyone on Karasuno's side. He beat, for the most part, Tsukishima, he beat Hinata, he beat Karyama, he was the best player in the court. There's no doubt about that. But Karasuno still won because they had other methods, they beat Shiro Torisawa as a whole and all that stuff. So with Kenma and Hinata, it could be kind of the same thing. Hinata's very focused on Kenma as his main rival here. So what his goal will be is to outsmart Kenma with Kageyama to make sure that the setups that Kenma make don't necessarily go through and all that stuff. And Hinata can then prove that he is a good enough player to defeat the plays that Kenma make, but Karasuno may as a whole not be able to defeat Nekoma. But this then brings me to my next point, which is the other prediction I've had basically since the beginning of this arc. And that was that obviously Nekoma will win against Karasuno, and that the entire tournament will be won by Fukurodani. And that again goes back to, where the crap is the page? We have Bokuto. Yeah, here it is. We have Bokuto saying that, oh, this might be my last battle in high school, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna stop playing volleyball. And then Akashi's like, well, don't you think we're gonna win? Do you think we're gonna lose soon? And he's like, no, we're gonna win them all. And that again goes back to the thing that you have both Hinata and Kenma saying, this is our goal now, we're gonna do these things, and then you have Bokuto say, okay, we're gonna straight up win this whole tournament. And I think that's really interesting story. Like, you have these characters say out loud what their goal is. And then you can discuss, well, that doesn't necessarily mean it's true. Like, if I can make a parallel to Shokugeki no Soma, you have one of my favorite panels in Shokugeki no Soma is in the Autumn Classics. Sorry, figure skating. Is in the Autumn Elections, where you have this panel of Hayama. If you don't know Shokugeki no Soma, you're not gonna get this reference. But we have Hayama, you have Hisako, and you have Takumi. They have this shared panel where they're all like, I am gonna win my match. And out of those three, only one ends up winning. They all had a chance of winning because they were not going up against each other, but only one of them ended up winning. So obviously it could be the same here. You only have one of them like getting their goal. And obviously for Kenma and Hinata, you could be in a situation where they both achieve their goal, like I talked about. You could be in a situation where none of them achieve their goal, so Kenma might be the better player, but Karasuno wins. You're gonna have Kenma's a better player, and Nekoma wins. You could have the Hinata's a better player, or something. Like, you have either way. That could go either way. And for Bokuto, you could just have he wins or he loses. But I think it's just because they have goals that do not directly conflict. They don't necessarily they're not necessarily in conflict with each other. They could all achieve the goal they just set to themselves. It would be interesting to see them all achieve those goals. Also, I said this before, for the Karasuno third years, and for Ukai as a coach too, a lot of their goals have been riding on literally just getting to this stage and battling Nekoma, because that was the long time dream of having the two of them battle it out on the orange court, because that was the only place where they could really fight in an official match, because they were from different prefectures, and they always had these training matches together and all that. We all know the story. So for a lot of them, they've achieved their goal of just making it here and being able to go up against Nekoma. So I don't think it'd be our loss if Karasuno lost this. And also it just sets up for the next year where we have more things happening. Because we all know that we're at least gonna go into at least one more year, because otherwise there'd be no point in introducing middle schoolers. And there'd be also no point in appointing a new captain for the Karasuno team and all that stuff. So at least one more year. And I'm inclined to say 2, because I think it'd be really weird to stop like halfway through. But yeah, I think those 3 panels where they all stated their goals were really interesting. And I hope that they all get what they want. I hope Nekoma wins. Like, obviously, I do naturally root for Karasuno, but because I want them to win, I want there to be a goal that makes sense when they, like, after this year. And I think just because we have so much story left, I would like for them to defeat Nekoma next year, especially because the third years, their goal was never win this tournament. Their goal was never defeat Nekoma. Their goal was get to the orange court. Boom, done. The others who have maybe more ambitious goals, they still have a year or two to get there. Whereas for maybe Nekoma, like for Kuro, it's his last year. So for Kuro and Nekoma, it's also their last year. Kuro and Kenma, it's their last year playing together because Kuro will graduate and Kenma will stay because he's only second year. So yeah, I just for me that makes more sense story-wise, but then it's also gonna, for me this match is gonna be very exciting because I go into this match not expecting Karasuno to win, and because we're seeing it all from Karasuno's point of view, this is gonna be really exciting for me because I obviously, even though this is what I wanted, this is what I legitimately think will happen, that does not mean I'm right. I have been wrong before. As I clearly just said in my Shokugeki no Tsuma thing where I was wrong about what would happen. So, we'll see. I know a lot of you think that Karasuno will win this, and it's definitely a possibility. I'm like, it's a 50-50 chance if you just look at it objectively. And just story-wise, it will also make sense that Karasuno would win, just because they have lost to Nekoma in every single practice match they've had, and for them to be able to win the one match that counts, that'd be freaking great. But I think it's unlikely. Just my own thoughts. I think they should win at some point, but not now. So yeah, that's the end of my Haikyuu review. A little longer than usual, but obviously I had a little bit more to talk about, and we're going into a new match, and it's the Nekoma one. It's the big one. It's the one we've all been waiting for. So yeah. Yeah, I think that's it. So until next time. Bye guys.